Previously on the tragic end of a hero.
Debo was a tailor, a maker of fine clothes for fine people. Debo had heard about a new law that the white colonial masters had made. He had to go to the native court, and guess who sat on that court? Tribal chiefs who were handpicked by the colonial masters, chiefs who didn't care about the truth, only about filling the pockets of the white colonial masters. This law made no sense to Debo. They knew that they needed help. Help from someone who was not afraid of the Oda. Help from someone who was not afraid of the white man. So they went into the forest, deep into the forest, where tall trees formed a canopy overhead, and strange birds sang eerie songs. The battle was not over, and Adana's eyes burned with a promise. This was only the beginning. To be continued. Continuation! They walked for days, weeks even, until they reached the shore of a big lake. And on the lake they saw Yamoja's palace, a magnificent structure made of coral and shells. The men approached the palace cautiously. They had heard tales of Yamoja's power, and they knew that they were in the presence of greatness. When Yamoja saw them, she beckoned with a finger for them to wait, then disappeared into her palace. They waited for hours, days even, and when Yamoja finally emerged, she had a strange look on her face. Her eyes, which were usually bright and full of life, were clouded with thought. Her movements, which were usually graceful and fluid, were slow and hesitant. "You have come to me for help," she said at last, her voice unusually grave. "Tell me your problems, and I will see what I can do." The men hesitated. They had never seen Yamoja like this before. Her sadness was palpable, and it made them afraid. But they had come too far to turn back now. So they told her about the law, about how it was unjust, about how it was unfair. And as they spoke, Yamoja's face grew darker and darker, until finally, when the last man had finished speaking, she threw her hands up in the air and let out a cry that echoed across the lake. "So be it," she said at last. "So be it. I shall help you." And with that, she disappeared into her palace once more. The men waited, hoping for Yamoja to emerge, to lead them, to guide them, but they waited in vain. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the men eventually lost hope. Some went back to their old lives, others simply gave up. Only one man remained, Debo, the tailor. He stayed by the lake, waiting for Yamoja, hoping for her to keep her promise. And then one day, as he was sitting on the shore, mending a tear in a man's trousers, he heard a voice behind him. "Debo, why do you sit here wasting away?" He turned around to see a woman standing there. She was beautiful, majestic, and yet somehow familiar. "Who are you?" he asked. The woman smiled. "I am Yamoja," she said, "and I have come for you." She took Debo's hand and led him into the lake. They swam and swam until they reached a coral reef. There, growing out of the reef, was a magnificent palace made of shells and pearls. "This is my palace," Yamoja said, "and now it is yours." But Debo shook his head. "I don't want your palace," he said. "I want your help. You promised to help me fight the white man's law, and I need your help to do that." Yamoja looked at him for a long time. Then she sighed. "You are right," she said. "I did promise to help you, but I lied. I am sorry." Before Debo could ask why, Yamoja continued. "I am fading away, Debo. The world is changing, and I'm not strong enough to fight the white man's magic anymore. I can be contained, I can be controlled, I can be used against my own people." Tears welled up in Debo's eyes. He had come to Yamoja for help, but now it was she who needed his help. "What can I do?" he asked. "You must go back to Lagos," Yamoja said. "You must find the son of Olokun. Olokun was my husband and the father of many of the children of the water. His bloodline runs strong in this world, and his son is a powerful man. He will listen to you, Debo. He will understand your plight. He will help you." With that, Yamoja disappeared and Debo found himself back on the shore, the lake receding from his feet like a retreating wave. Now Debo knew exactly who Yamoja was talking about, the son of Olokun. Was Bolaji, the man whose watch had been stolen? Yes, Bolaji, the man who had been wrongfully accused, the man who had been forced to pay a fine. Bolaji, the man who had the blood of the water god in him. As Debo ran towards Lagos, the wind whipping through his hair, he knew that he had found the champion he had been waiting for. The fight would continue. It might have ended for Yemoja, but it wouldn't end for her. It wouldn't end for any of them because the water goddess was not just Yemoja, she was also part of them. And so the story goes, the tale has been told and retold around crackling fires, reminding every listener that the fight for freedom is endless, that the struggle for justice is unending, and that as long as they hold on to the memory of Yemoja, they will always have the strength to carry on. Once upon a time in the bustling city of Lagos, there lived a hard-working tailor named Debo. Debo had a gift for his trade. He could look at a piece of cloth and immediately see what it could become. His shop was always filled with the sounds of sewing machines and the laughter of satisfied customers. One day, a stranger came to Debo's shop. He was well-dressed, obviously wealthy and very handsome. He introduced himself as Bolaji and said he needed a suit for an important occasion. Debo took on the job with enthusiasm and put his special touch on it. When the suit was ready, Bolaji came to collect it. He tried it on and it fit him perfectly. He paid Debo handsomely for his work and asked him to make another suit for him. But Debo refused. "I can't make another suit for you," he said, "not unless you tell me who you really are." Bolaji was taken aback. He had never met a tailor who wasn't thrilled to have such a prestigious customer. But Debo's persistence made him curious. So he decided to play along. He revealed his true identity. He wasn't just a wealthy businessman, he was also the son of the legendary water goddess, Yemoja. When Debo heard this, he was shocked. He knew the legends about Yemoja and her children. They were said to be powerful beyond measure, able to control the very essence of the water. But he had no idea that one of her sons was living in his city. Bolaji explained that he had come to Lagos to escape the prying eyes of the world. He didn't want to be known as the son of Yemoja, and so he had been living a simple life, trying to be just Bolaji, the tailor. But Debo knew that their paths had been brought together for a reason. He could feel it in his bones. As the two men talked, Debo learned more about Bolaji and his connection to Yemoja. He also learned about the great challenges facing their community, the injustices inflicted upon them by the colonial rulers, and he knew that he had to do something to help. He agreed to make Bolaji the suit for the upcoming event, but not before promising to stand by his side in the fight for their people. Together, the tailor and the water god's son became a formidable force. They rallied the community, inspiring them to fight for their rights and resist the oppressive laws of the colonial rulers. It was a long and difficult battle, but they never lost hope. Never lost hope. With Bolaji's supernatural abilities and Debo's unwavering determination, they managed to turn the tide in their favor. The people of their community gained their freedom and justice, and they had their tailor and their water god's son to thank for it. From that day forward, Debo was no longer just a tailor. He became a hero, a symbol of courage and resistance. The tale of his bravery was passed down from generation to generation, reminding everyone that even the most ordinary of people can become extraordinary when they stand up for what they believe in. The end! Follow us for more captivating stories.